PCN is brought to you in part by the following underwriters.
This week on PACTV Community News, we check in on the Pembroke Boys Club renovations, visit a Peep Diorama contest in Duxbury, and meet the folks behind the South Shore Early Ed program out of Plymouth.
PCN stops into two powerful events, one called The Power of One that looks at how collectively and individually people can move a society, and we stopped into a moving film showing at Memorial Hall called If Only, about the drug epidemic on the South Shore.
We have two stories from fitness clubs. One is a new addition to the Kingston collection, and one is from Duxbury Fitness, who has an ongoing fitness donation program.
Mindful Moments brings Leslie Cutler back to the set, and we begin at Plymouth Memorial Hall.
With the opioid epidemic reaching the epic proportions that it has, it's clear that the issue needs to be on the front of everyone's mind if there's to be any progress made in breaking this cycle. The Plymouth Area Substance Abuse Prevention Collaborative teamed up with the Audette family to present If Only, a film produced by James Wahlberg, which follows the life of an adolescent boy as he enters the dark world of addiction. This free screening took place at Plymouth Memorial Hall, and Brian Sullivan was there to report.
The sounds of a few voices became the sounds of a few more voices, eventually turning into the sound of a crowd as folks made their way into Memorial Hall. The one common thread tying them all together, raising awareness of the growing opioid epidemic gripping towns like Plymouth all over the country. Hundreds are expected to be in attendance from several towns along the South Shore for tonight's free screening of If Only at Plymouth Memorial Hall. Nearly all 4,000 square feet of the entertainment venue at the hall would be needed for the sheer volume of people who had either gotten free tickets or had just shown up off the street. Even the film's producer, Jim Wahlberg, was on hand to present and give opening remarks.
The movie follows a high school student through his journey of sort of being a little peer pressured into trying drugs and then really traveling down a road that it gets real serious real fast.
Of course, none of this would have been possible without the combined effort between the Plymouth Area Substance Abuse Prevention Collaborative and the Audette family.
Each one of my towns, Middleborough, Carver, and Plymouth, all came to me sort of around the same time and said, we'd love to do an If Only viewing in our community. So they were each sort of looking to do it on their own. I suggested doing one sort of really big event with the three towns because they're working together on a grant. They're coming together as a region instead of just town and town. And interestingly enough, the Audette family was planning on doing If Only as well. So we found out about that and decided to collaborate.
The film truly hit home for Tom and Michelle Audette, who lost their 23-year-old daughter Jillian to an overdose in November of 2014.
After my daughter had passed, one of the things my wife and I anguished over is what voice did my daughter have? What influence did she have that was stronger than that of her parents? You know, she knew better. She was a smart kid. She had always made good choices. And how can that voice be stronger than that of our own? And as we tried to bring awareness to different communities, we were fighting for just the right type of information. And when we saw this movie, it seemed to nail it dead on, that this is the kind of thing that shows that voice firsthand that was stronger than the voice of a parent.
For Amy Lafort, her motivation is raising awareness about substance abuse disorder.
I think it's really important to sort of understand what substance use disorder is and sort of try to break down the wall that is the stigma. Somebody with that disorder has a disease. They're not like a dirty junkie and they're not a bad person. They're struggling with a disease like cancer, diabetes, heart disease, any of those things. And it's important to sort of bring the cause to light in that we need to help people suffering, but we also, on the other end, really need to be focusing on preventing kids from starting.
Oftentimes, those kids are starting not because of the dealer on the corner, but because of pain medications prescribed by doctors. Prescriptions like OxyContin, for instance.
So here's a drug that they invented for people who are under hospice care, right? So they were at the end of their life. It didn't matter if they got addicted. It was to make them comfortable, right, at the end of their life. Somehow we've been convinced by these drug makers that that same medicine is now okay for an 11-year-old kid to take for a toothache. This drug has turned people who have never exhibited any kind of problems in their life with addiction and turned them into fully addicted people. It's the medicine, that the compound that they put together is just highly addictive. Nobody escapes it.
For those in attendance seeing this film for the first time, the Audettes would like them to leave with these takeaways.
We're hoping that for the parents, first of all, they get some good information as to what opiates are and how dangerous they can be. For the kids, we want them to take away from the movie and recognize that moment, that first-time opportunity that's going to come their way, so that hopefully they recognize that this is it, this is the first time, here's that chance where I'm either going to say yes or no.
The goal of the movie is really to just start a conversation between kids, their parents, community leaders, priests, rabbis, doctors, everybody and anybody, to help kids sort of look at making a better choice.
In downtown Plymouth, I'm Brian Sullivan, PACTV Community News. The Kingston Democratic Town Committee hosted an event called The Power of One. A panel of experts and community leaders discussed how community indifference can lead to powerful global issues such as the Holocaust. They touched on how one person can make a difference for good or bad. Banners along the room showcased the world's history that included bystanders and upstanders who made all the difference. The panelists and audience reflected on how past lessons are examples for our current world today. PCN was there to bring you the story.
On behalf of the Kingston Democratic Town Committee, we want to welcome you and thank you for joining us today.
And we've hosted here this morning at the Senior Center a program called The Power of One, Bystanders and Upstanders during and after the Holocaust.
When I heard about The Power of One, I knew that we had to get involved in this, and I contacted Amy Belmore, and we got together and actually helped put the panel together. No Place for Hate is interested in helping any groups that may be considered discriminated against, and we're here to support any hate mongering, against any hate mongering speech and an atmosphere of discrimination and prejudice.
You have to study the past to understand what's going on, to know where you're going in the future. If you don't want to repeat the mistakes of the past, you have to study the past. You have to learn from it.
My firm belief is that we need to teach people about what's happened in the past so that we never repeat those problems and mistakes again in the future. And I'm thrilled with all the people who came here today because I know they are of the same mindset, and I hope that they go home and they teach their children and their grandchildren the same thing.
Today, we have the advantage of hopefully learning from the past and knowing that it doesn't do any good to be a bystander, that you must become an upstander. And what is it, I mean, I ask myself, what is it that I can do? What I have done back then? Well, I know now to speak up, and that's why I was here today.
What people will take away is more or less what they already brought in, because everybody in this room has expressed the desire to be at peace, to be not hating, to be against the forces that we would call the dark forces of society.
I'm a kind of triple kind of human being. I'm an Iraqi American, but I'm a Muslim American, but I'm an Arab American, but. By the way, these are just stereotypes. I really, through my life, I didn't allow this to penetrate my skin. Because if that happened, then I would lose three things: my wisdom, my patience, and my determination to fight back. I'm not going to fight back by kicking people some parts of their bodies. I'm fighting back intellectually, providing educational opportunities.
We are a people, we are a society, we are a nation of immigrants. I'm an Irish immigrant. We've got immigrants all around us. And that is the greatness of America. We have to be able to solve the problems by talking about the problems.
Be community of unity, of engagement, of understanding, of civility, of respect. Thank you so much.
When the Pembroke Community Preservation Committee stepped in to help with the roof of the Pembroke Police Boys Club, they found a lot more fixes than they had originally anticipated. The interior and exterior was also in disrepair. The renovations have been taking place in phases with community groups and businesses contributing their skills. PCN met up with Bill Bolter, the president of the club, to see how the project is going.
We're in the process of trying to do over the building inside and outside. Also add some other features to the outside of the building. The Pembroke Community Preservation Committee got together, and originally we had asked them for some money for a roof project because the roof is in some need of repair. So we asked them for the roof project, and they came up with a plan to actually do more than just a roof project, to do some windows and doors and help us out with the outside of the building to make it look more like what it did back in the 1800s or whatever. You know, when they first made it, there's extensions to put on the outside and add some other windows to the building and move some of the roof line that's on the below roofs and things like that. Some light post outside, which would also go with the building, which would spruce it up really nice. This is kind of a center of attraction building in the center of Pembroke, so it'd be a really good thing to do. We're also doing some renovations inside of the building. We want to try to do the floors over, get some carpeting, do some work in all 3 floors. We do karate, boxing, and weight training. So we've contacted the Plymouth County Sheriff's Office, actually, and they're willing to donate some help out here to help us out with some of the projects that we have inside. We would like to put 2 small walls on the outside of the building that is just on the banking over there, which it's a pretty steep banking, so people have a problem tripping or whatever going down there when there's an event going on over on the town green. So our thought was to honor the military and put all of the military flags out here on flagpoles and dress that up really nice so that it looks good. Protector Wire, company of North Pembroke, which is a fire alarm company, donated all of the equipment for a brand new fire alarm system, which put us all up to date with all new strobe lights and alarm system and all that, which eventually we're going to hook all that up to protect the building here so that would go right into the fire department. I think last year and this year we've contacted some of the businesses about helping us out with donations because we do, the more donations that we get from the community or businesses, the better it is for us for purchasing equipment and, you know, modern, up-to-date things that we need. And we're just trying to bring it up to today's codes and make it a good place for the kids. So.
Who doesn't love Peeps? You know those neon-colored marshmallow and confectionery sugar bombs in the shapes of bunnies and chicks? For the 2nd year running, the Duxbury Free Library hosted a Peep Diorama contest. Children's librarian Jessica Lamar gave us the details on this fun contest.
Peeps are little sugar-coated marshmallows that you can find pretty much any holiday now, and they come in bunnies and chicks. But some of our Peep entries decided to kind of cannibalize all the parts and make their own animals. So they made pigs out of them and cows and anything they could think of, so sky's the limit. So it started with a coworker of mine 2 years ago. She gave us a report from the Washington Post, and they've actually been doing their Peep contest for 10 years. So we decided that it would be a fun way to engage the community if we did our own. So our rules were it had to be a shoebox, it had to have 2 Peeps, and of course it had to be based on a book. So we had a week of people coming in, bringing it in because they did it at home. And then everybody voted for the People's Choice Award. And then we announced 10 winners. So it was basically the populace picked who they liked the best. I think 4-year-old was our youngest, and then we actually had WATD, which is a radio station in Marshfield. They put their blood, sweat, and tears into a display. So we had pretty much everywhere in between, and we had some teens do it, and we had some groups from the middle school, the high school, and the elementary school all bring in entries. We had picture books. We had some new ones like Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus. We had some old classics like Harold and the Purple Crayon. Then we had some new stuff, some of the teen books like Divergent, which is post-apocalyptic sci-fi kind of thing. And we had some children's classics like Charlotte's Web. And then we even had some comic book entries like Doctor Who. The high school, I believe, did Island of the Blue Dolphin. And I don't even remember the scene that they did, but it was like a scene where all the I guess, tribe was getting decimated, so there's lots of toothpicks and blood. One entry from staff won, that was the Doctor Who one, and then there are 2 group entries that won, Island of the Blue Dolphin, which I mentioned, and then we had another one do Goodnight Moon, which was really, really good, and then we had 5 under 12 entries that were popular picks, and then we had 1 over 12 entry which did Bats at the Beach, which is a local author, so that one was pretty good too. This is our 2nd year. We had 42 entries last year, and we had 39 entries this year, and even the staff does entries too, and then we kind of brag who wins. I didn't win this year, so. But yeah, it's been really fun. We hope to do it again next year, and hopefully it'll be bigger and better, and it'll take over the whole library.
The years prior to kindergarten are some of the most formative years of a child's life. PCN met up with South Shore Early Education to talk about just how important and how early education can play a key role.
South Shore Early Education, it's an education program for children ages 3 months up till the age of 5. When the child has turned 5 and is eligible for kindergarten, they are no longer eligible for our program. But not only do we do education for the children, but we do education for the entire family as well. The age group of 3 months up to 3 years old is early Head Start program, and that program is mostly about making sure that the children are ready for school when they get into kindergarten. And the school readiness at that age is an awareness of literacy, an awareness of sharing with other children, how to get along with others, some early self-help skills, how to find their jacket on their hook, how to begin to feed themselves, and just act in a small groups type situation. The children that are ages 3 up to age 5, we really zero in on school readiness. How prepared are they to enter the public schools? They begin to write their names. They will be reading, beginning to read books, learning their letters, their colors, their numbers, and additionally, how to get along with others, play in a small group, play outside with their friends.
So the enrollment process here at South Shore Early Education begins with an intake. The intake manager sits down with the family and gathers pertinent information in order to decide and provide the family with the best enrollment option here. We have many different enrollment options here. We have our Head Start class that is half day school year, and it's free for income eligible families. We also have subsidy options where parents could be working and maybe would pay a small sliding scale fee for their full day childcare, and we also accept childcare vouchers. So depending on the goals of the family, the work status, and income, we can determine an eligibility and a fit that best suits that child's needs and that family's needs.
I think early education is very important to children. It's the foundation for later learning in life. They get introduced to books and authors and a love of books, a love of learning. It's a great opportunity for them. And here at South Shore Early Education, we have transportation available for them. We have meals every day. Breakfast, lunch, and a snack are served. They have education in the classroom. They're exposed to field trips. And again, as I said, they have, the parents can be involved in the program as well as get a training and some education as well.
The Kingston Collection continues its transformation with an addition of a new fitness club. PCN stopped into their grand opening to meet them.
Today we're really excited to be grand opening our 7th regional location of Koko Fit Club here at the Kingston Collection in Kingston. The awesome thing about Koko, and Koko means one-to-one or individual in Japanese, and we started about 12 years ago, actually right here on the South Shore of Massachusetts, and we look to marry fitness and technology together. And over the last 10 years, we've evolved into the premier boutique coaching concept. We have 7 locations in the area, including Hanover and Marshfield here on the South Shore. So we were looking to expand the reach and our availability for our members. So we've been able to change the lives of thousands of people over the last couple of years. And the Kingston Collection, we are really impressed with what the current owners are doing here. They've obviously brought a new life to the concept, to the plaza over the last couple of years. Some great co-tenancy, and so we thought that Koko would fit perfectly with some of the other tenants nearby. I think for anybody watching, fitness is not do-it-yourself, despite what most of us believe. Having a coach is critical to success. Getting the best out of your body so that your body never stands in the way of what you want to do with your life. Knee replacements, hip replacements, or just want to be able to get up off the floor, playing with your grandkids, chasing people around Disney World, chasing your grandkids around Disney World. Might even be sports performance. I want to be better. I want to improve my agility, strength, cardio, nutrition. We're thrilled to be open here in the Kingston Collection, and we welcome anybody in to our club here in Kingston.
Duxbury Fitness's owner, Vicki Paquette, spends a lot of time at the fitness center, but felt she wasn't connecting with the local community enough. Vicki also feels giving back to the community is important, so she came up with a clever way to do both. PCN stopped into the fitness center to learn more about her community generosity and goodwill.
The Duxbury Fitness Give Good Health project is a project that we started January of 2015. And the idea was just trying to find a way that I could really reach out to the community. And in trying to find that, I realized it's hard for me to leave here. It's hard for me to get away from the building, away from my clients. So what can I do to bring something here? And that's where I really got the Give Good Health project idea.
I'm part of the Give Good Health program that's offered by Duxbury Fitness. It's a donation that they make 2 times a year to 2 different recipients. I was recommended by a woman in town. I'm a single mother of 6 kids and don't find a lot of time to take care of myself, and she thought that I would be a good choice for this.
Not everybody can afford personal training. Not everyone can afford even a gym membership. And when you get in a situation where you're down and out, you're struggling to maybe even put food on the table, health-related things are the first to go. It's the first to go by the wayside, and if you are spending money toward that, people look down on you for it, you're wasting your money. Why is that the focus? And it really is important, just in all aspects of life.
Exercising for me has strengthened me. I've lost weight, I've dropped 2 dress sizes. It's built up my confidence. My kids are my biggest cheerleaders. They're so happy that I'm doing something for myself. And the support here, Vicki, is wonderful.
The thought really was, if you can give a person the ability to feel empowered and feel like they're actually able to meet their goals and feel healthy and strong and confident through working out, through nutritional education, exercise education, that might hopefully trickle out into every other aspect of their life and truly just start opening their world up, making them see things differently, maybe different opportunities that they would have gone into with a negative point of view. They go into it a little more positive, a little more open and willing to try new things. And that's truly where the Give Good Health project started from.
As close to the floor as you can get.
It's been a huge impact on my life. For someone to give me such a generous gift has been emotional for me, and it's made a tremendous difference in my life.
And we are back with Mindful Moments and Leslie Cutler. Welcome to the set
Thank you,
again.
Kim. It's great to be here.
It's always happy to have you here, and I'm excited to be doing this segment with you today.
Yes.
Because Julie is on vacation.
Lucky Julie.
So we're going to be talking about inner spring cleaning.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Yes. So, spring is definitely considered this time where we think of renewal, we think of changing things up. It's that time where we remove all the stuff from our house that kept us warm, kept us comfortable during the winter months, and we create a new beginning. We simplify, we put clear goals into place, and we move forward. So for today, I wanted to discuss how this can be done, this inner spring cleaning, in 5 basic steps.
Okay. Our first step is live moderately.
Always a challenge. Okay, so the importance in this is recognizing the difference between needs and desires. So obviously we need basic things, food, clothing, shelter, that type of thing. But the desirous things are, extremely expensive clothes, eating out all the time. And none of this is bad at all, but it's all done within moderation.
In moderation.
And so, each day we're presented with a series of choices. Do I choose to go out? Do I choose to stay in? Do I buy this? Do I not buy this? And it's really being careful and mindful in those moments to make a choice that seems to make sense for overall who we are.
Okay.
When we get burdened down with too much stuff and too much clutter, it's hard for us to live a simple life, to be able to be ultimately who we are, because we're so busy trying to keep up with what it is that we have. And I know as we were talking about, it's interesting to think about our parents and their parents and how they all lived in these, small homes with 3 bedrooms, 1 main living space, and 5 kids. And everybody was happy. And
in 1 bathroom.
In 1 bathroom. I mean, it's just interesting how overall, as a society, we've really changed our ideas of what needs and desires are.
Okay. How about point 2?
So going along with this is ridding of the unnecessary. We have so much clutter in our lives that I think we even sometimes forget to see it ourselves. We're so used to being kind of engulfed in it and surrounded by it. So I challenge my clients, and I think this is interesting too, get rid of 1 to 2 things a day.
Physical things?
Physical things.
Physical things.
And I think if first it's a little bit easier, and then as you get deeper into it, you realize how hard it is. And I'm not talking about getting rid of things that are meaningful or important to us, but once you start opening your eyes to, geez, do I really need this? Does this need to be in my life? And this can be done in kind of an existential way or in a very physical level as well. We'll realize how much we can kind of simplify things and make our lives easier for ourselves.
And our third point is get comfortable trying new things.
Yeah, it's this thing called fear that always stands in the way. And I know routine is important to all of us on some level, and especially those who struggle with anxiety. Having a solid routine is going to be paramount. But what happens is people get so stuck in these routines that they don't leave a whole lot of space for possibility. They can't seem to move outside of that. And one thing that I try to do is, don't label yourself as this unchangeable creature of habit, but every day look for that 1 or 2 opportunities where you break out of a little bit of the unfamiliar. If you're somebody who struggles a bit with social anxiety or meeting people, maybe try talking to 1 person a day. 1 new person saying hello or making eye contact or somehow pushing yourself out of what's unfamiliar.
So something unexpected that you didn't see in your day and just trying and going for it. All right.
Yes.
Point 4 is make small, continuous improvements.
Yes, and this all goes together, but I think of that expression and that Henry Ford used a lot. He says, nothing is particularly hard if you divide it into small pieces. So if we took this and we took this concept and we configured it as a question, I keep thinking of, how do you eat an elephant? 1 small bite at a time. And that's very much about the point I'm trying to make is making these very small, kind of continuous positive changes every day. And, it's so easy to become overwhelmed. You think of, oh, I want to, lose weight or live a healthy lifestyle. And, trying to make that type of change is overwhelming and is going to freeze you in the face of it.
It's all or nothing.
It's all or nothing, but thinking,
Right.
okay, so I get cravings for snacks at X time of the day. I'm going to make a list of maybe 20 snacks that I could have that might perhaps be a better choice, and incorporating that. That will give you a very small step forward, but will allow the momentum as you're able to reach that goal, as you're able to move forward in that way.
And we're going to finish up with our fifth one, which you have to do quick, which is reduce daily stress.
Yes. So this is a tough one. You know, I'm a big fan of daily meditation, taking that time, you know, to kind of sit with things and think things through and process things. It gives us that leverage to, you know, kind of let go of what no longer serves us. And I know that we all struggle with this in some ways, but I think we all as a society try to control and complicate things. And somehow this letting go and this releasing, bringing it down can work wonders for us. It gives us incredible clarity, and it just allows us to be, to appreciate, and to move forward.
Thank you, Leslie. As always, it's
Thank
very
you,
moving and
Kim.
thoughtful information for us to take in, so I appreciate you coming.
Thank you. Great to be here.
And thank you for watching this week's show. Replay times and links can be found at our website or watch us on YouTube. Be sure to follow us on social media for previews and updates, and we'll see you next week for more local stories on PCN.